Hey Phil, it's Frankie Finn. By the way, good to meet you. It's a real honor, especially I can tell you're an up and comer, 40 under 40. Fort Wayne, Indiana is a little funny place to me because I had some friends who we went to Cedar Point. They were supposed to come back home. I'm from like right next to Detroit in Canada, and they somehow ended up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So I drove around Fort Wayne, Indiana, trying to find my lost friends so I could bring them home. So you got a little special place in here. But I saw that you're super talented, up and coming. So smart of you to get into the Pillman Masterminds. I wanted to show you just kind of like visually like what I had in mind for you because it's easier to see. We got some good pieces that we're working with. You mentioned the videos that you're coming in. You got the reviews. I can see you're a 40 under 40, which is by the way something we share. Mine was an accident. Yours is the legitimate version, but I was speaking at one of the NTL events and they somehow named me as one of the legends of the trial bar. I don't know how that happened because I've never been a practicing attorney, but congratulations on getting the legit version. So I'll show you a little bit about kind of uh, the methodology and like what we've been doing. So the idea is like when somebody first finds out about Truitt Law, they start out as a complete stranger. They may follow you. They may become a lead. They may show some interest. They may actually like, reach out and, I call those the no shows. Either they fill out a form or they don't call you back and those and almost hired. And I consider the process of hiring attorney to be like kind of like a golf course where you got the past clients and things like that recently hired you over here. And the idea was I wanted to work with this band here to help you guys with people who almost hired you because, like, statistically, according to Google, about 95% of the people who visit your website, so like for every 20 people, one of them is going to hire you and 19 of them are going to disappear. And I thought that's actually the biggest opportunity. So this is the first attorney we ran this before, even before Jason. Um, and I think you know Mo. I think he's actually in your mastermind. But this is what we started doing with Mo. And the idea with it is twofold: is we take those people who are like kind of close to the hole already because they've already been in an accident, they've somehow got sucked into some kind of marketing you're doing, whether it's your Google or Facebook. I don't know if you guys do any TV. I haven't seen any of that yet, but they get into your kind of world and they've clicked on you. And so they're like kind of like 80-90% of the way there. So what we did with Mo is we put on the tracking code so that we could follow them. And I find a lot of the vendors, which I'm sure you've had no shortage of like hit and miss with vendors, is they're kind of platform specific. You know what I mean? Like the Google Ads guy who's going to tell you need Google Ads, and the SEO guy is going to tell you need SEO, and the Instagram guy is going to tell you need Instagram. And what I found is like the firms, and I just learned this from being in Ken's masterminds myself and kind of seeing some of the same stuff you do, is the people who do the best with it. I call it the Morgan and Morgan effect, but they're like everywhere. Like part of what makes Morgan and Morgan everywhere is he's on every TV commercial, he's on every radio, he's on every billboard, he's on every bus stop. You can't drive past a taxi without seeing him. So it has like a compound effect. It's, in theory, it should be like one TV commercial plus one radio ad plus one billboard equals three, but we found it's more like one plus one plus one plus one equals 15. Like it has a compound effect the more places they see you. So I wanted to replicate that digitally. And the cool thing about like doing this with, kind of recapturing people is that it's really cheap. Like, I don't know what it is in Fort Wayne, but I'd be surprised if like Google pay-per-clicks under $100 a piece. But when we're just following up with people who specifically have an interest in Truitt Law, it's not super expensive. So this is kind of what we're doing with Mo. And what I imagine here is you mentioned you got your brand video, you got some testimonials. So that's what would go into the YouTube play. So basically, these ads get shown over and over and over. Like I forget the numbers, but statistically, only about 0.5% of people actually watch a YouTube ad all the way through. And we get like 40% of the people to watch them all the way through, like 35-40%. And the reason is because they're already familiar with your law firm, right? So they're in the considering working with you kind of phase. And so when they're in that information gathering, like these ads just hit them at a very powerful time. And the cool thing is, since you're always driving traffic, the ads are always new to somebody. Then these are kind of like our digital billboards. And so they kind of highlight the, like, I call them the social proof aspects of your firm. So like in your case, like we would hit them with top 40 under 40, Google reviews, as well as just some of the, I don't know about how the state bar is in Indiana, but if we can use some of these like settlements, that would be really cool as well. If not, there's other stuff. And the idea is like I learned this kind of from Ken's mastermind is billboards themselves don't like drive a whole bunch of conversion, but they actually drive conversion in other places. Like, Ken used to say, if I took my billboards down, I would notice it in my TV, and my radio spots would convert less, even though nobody ever called me from a billboard. It's the same kind of thing. It's not any one ad that drives the conversion. It's the collective of them seeing you literally millions and millions of times. So we probably ran this for Mo for like 6 or 7 months. And we've been seen like across these platforms almost 2 million times by interested clients. And we still, barely spent like 10, 12 grand. So like we're only spending like 10, 15 bucks a day. Like it doesn't need a huge ad budget to do that. And then on Facebook and Instagram, we're hitting him with more kind of like social stuff. So he's got like memes, he's got a free book, and then we got it's hard to see because the file size is a little small, but like get a free case evaluation. So there's, kind of a direct call to action. The tracking is a little bit screwed up here because like in the case of like the videos, like the call to action in the video isn't, hey, click on our website so we can track you and our phone number. It just says, just call Mo in his case. So we don't have a way to like change that, but we notice it in terms of like people watch the videos. And then more importantly, like people come in the door and say, hey, I signed on with you because I see you everywhere on social media these days. And he's not really everywhere on social media. It just seems that way. So what we're doing is putting a little bit of tracking code from the different platforms. Cool thing is Google allows us to do both of these. So we can be banner ads. This goes on all like the news websites and things like that, and sports websites. So if they go to the NFL.com, it'll be Truitt Law right there. And then obviously, I mean, you got hit with YouTube, so I don't have to tell you about that. And then Facebook and Instagram is a single pixel. So it's a couple button clicks. The one thing I would tell you is if we set this up for you, it's a little bit anticlimactic because the first 2 to 3 weeks, we just install the pixel and we just wait. And the reason we have to wait is because these platforms don't let us run ads until 1,000 people have triggered the pixel, because they don't want you like super stalker following just one person around the internet. So typically what we do is we install the code and then just nothing happens for a little bit, and we'll get all the ads and stuff set up. And so you'll see the creatives we're going to run and what this collective picture will look like for you. But in the meantime, like basically we're just kind of sitting and waiting till the pixel gets triggered. And then we kind of turn the whole machine on at once. There's a little bit of a staggered effect because, like the Facebook, YouTube, they all have a little bit of a different approval process. But within a day or two, like suddenly they go from like visiting your website and showing interest to like, huge amounts of follow-up. And we're seeing like basically like clicks come back for $1, which you can't really beat in personal injury. And the video views are pennies. Like I think in Mo's case, we're actually paying a penny, maybe 2 pennies to get people to actually watch his videos all the way through. And these are people who are interested in his law firm. So that's kind of like what we would set up for you. Obviously, there would be your version with your videos. I'll get the banners designed for you. There's nothing you have to do. I just kind of basically match them to the website. If you have any other like mini sites as well that you want to do this for, I'm happy to include those like as one thing. And then, Facebook and Instagram as well. Typically how we do it, just so you know, is I have a software tool where you can just click to add us to your account. So it's a lot easier than like typically going through the steps where you just have to click approve, and then we'll be added to. And then I have to take whoever your web guy is and just have a little conversation with him to install a couple of pixels across the website so we can follow up with people. And then we just play the waiting game. I typically charge about 2K a month for this. And in your case, we should probably, if you want to do this, get set up with the pixels first. I won't charge you until like we actually go live and we can actually have people, starting to come back. But it's a compound effect, right? Like I said, it's not any one ad. It's the Morgan and Morgan effect. Like the more they see your videos, the more they see your banners, the more they see you on social, the more like they just see you everywhere, the more it works. So we do notice stuff happening right away because like these are retargeting people that have already shown an interest in your law firm. But I find the real effect is like 3 to 6 months down the road, where they like, it's just the insane amount of repetition that's hit them, gives them that kind of Morgan and Morgan feel. So if you think that's something that would make sense for you guys, let me know. And I know you said you were waiting on the videos, but in our case, I think the actual next move is to install the tracking codes, because we end up having to wait anyway. So like, even if your videos aren't ready, it's not holding us back. So if you'd be down with that, let me know, and then I'll send you a link. You just got to click approve a couple of times. It'll take you less than like a minute or two to actually get us set up, and then just a little email invite to whoever your person is that manages, your site, and we'll get them just to install the tracking codes, and then I'll keep you posted how we're doing on that waiting process. But in the meantime, I'll get all the creatives ready and you can see what it is like an actual client's going to see and how we kind of follow them around the internet. So I hope that's cool. I hope that makes sense. And I hope this video sheds a little light on kind of what we would do. And hopefully that fits in with what you're looking to do. I'm going to hit end recording here, my man.